Yeah, ayan na talaga. Ayan na, may bago na naman tayong development, guys. Pag-usapan natin, si Tatay Digong. Hindi na masyadong retired. Retirement, what retirement? So, hindi pa tapos yung first 100 days ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. Tatay Digong is back in the headlines na naman as a potentially key political figure, no, for the years to come, no. So recently, ito former President Rodrigo Duterte, ito meron na naman siyang relevant talaga si Tatay, 'di ba? Siya ang named as the chairman of PDP Laban. Yun, talaga. Or ito yung isang quizzy faction ba yan? Yan yung basta kasi nagwatak-watak naman, 'di ba? May Pacquiao faction, etc. So ibang nata to, PDP Laban to dun sa PDP Laban nila yung kabila. Ang pangalan yan? Sila Pimentel, yan. Basta ito akala namin pagod na si Tatay, gusto niya mag-retire and all of that. So yon, back into force, back in force, back in the center of political discussion na naman si Tatay Digong. So yung 77-year-old former leader natin was chosen as party leader ng PDP Laban during its 40th anniversary celebration and General Assembly dyan na naganap sa Pasay City. Ano lang to, di ba? Today to, di ba? Ayan. Or kahapon lang to. Ayan. Kahapon lang to, di ba? So, 3 months lang since he stepped down from power. Eto President Duterte is all in, no, for dito sa PDP Laban nila, party niya. At ayon kay Presidente, I would like to make this thing very, very clear. Yan. We are not putting up a strong party against the party of the President. We are not going to quarrel with him. Far from it. Talagang defensive explanation kaagad. Huwag kayo man-threaten dyan. Ano kami dito? We will be giving our full support to him. He was elected by 31 million. I wish the President good luck and I hope he would govern this country in accordance to what is the mandate of the people's interest. So talagang may clarification kaagad dito na hindi to threatening or anything like that. At the same time, let's keep certain things in mind. A bigger picture, a bigger analysis. Oh, by the way guys, pansin nyo, bumalik na yung Pogo meta natin. Oh, di ba? Hindi tayo nag-i-imagine. Hindi lang yan sa natin. Talagang nangyari yan. May meta tayo sa Pogo. Salamat sa Facebook Philippines, kay Ma'am Claire Amador, yung head ng policy ng Facebook Philippines, for kindly following up dun sa mga queries natin, among others. I want to thank them. Kaya sabi ko guys, kalmado lang tayo, relax lang tayo, wag tayo magpanic. Tanong-tanong muna tayo, ano nangyari dyan? Yun lang, medyo of course, inis pa rin na part of me dahil siyempre may circulation yun, biglang nawala sa sistema. So ngayon bumalik lang. Sige, pa-trending natin ulit yan. Ayan tayo. Biglang naman nawala. Biglang nawala. Ibang klase. Biglang nawala. Ganda na nga uy, ang daming comments sa gano'n na biglang ganun pagtinga. Oh! Nasaan na? Tapos yung may iba sa inyo, walang Sir, baka na-delete mo lang yan. Anong tingin nyo sa akin? Nag-delete lang na ganyan. Ano ka ba? Wala na nga siyang trace Wala siya sa activity log ko. Wala. Tapos yung iba sa inyo, na-access nyo pa rin. Weird, no? Sa notification nyo. Pero wala na siya sa wall. Wala na siya. Wala siya sa trash bin. Wala sa activity log. As in, nag-disappear. So anyway, salamat naman sa Facebook Philippines at yung mga kaibigan natin dyan for helping us para ma-restore yan. Hindi ko pa rin alam nangyari dyan. I still haven't received an official explanation on what happened there. Probably it's a bug. Probably there's a system reset that's happening. So I don't try to be suspicious about it or anything like that. Yun lang, syempre nagpakamot ni iba but kung kailan nagpogo yung discussion, biglang nagganyan. Ay nako. Sige, balikan natin si Tatay Si Tatay Digong kasi, I've been watching what he's been saying sa PD Lapan, etc. Because the other month, he said something about dapat paghandaan na yung midterm elections na parating, yung 2025 elections pala, sorry, 2025 elections. So, my sense was, the president was already looking at the political landscape and where he could position himself, no? And I'm sure the president also has some clear idea about where the country should head, which policies should be maintained, and which policies are okay to be a little bit tweaked and changed. So may very strong sense of investment si Pangulong Duterte dito sa legacy niya at dito sa nangyayari sa ating bansa. And yes, alay sila ni Pangulong Marcos during the elections, at least formally, may unity team, etc. But at the same time, we know that, well, President Duterte did not endorse him. President Duterte seemed to have his own ideas about the current president. Hindi natin ulitin yan. Basahin nyo na lang yung sinabi niya, di ba? Hindi ko nang basahin. Ito yung sinabi niya, di ba? Hindi na ako... Wag na natin patulan. Hindi, di ba? Anong sinabi niya? Ito yung sinabi niya, di ba? Ito yung sinabi niya. Alam niyo na yan. Now, the interesting thing is, yes, the president has made it very clear na he's here to support the president. He's not here to challenge the president. I don't even know why he had to qualify that. But this is where medyo interesting eh. And I'll go to the analysis part. At the same time, sinabi ni Pangulong Pangulong Duterte, former President Duterte, na the PDP laban won't turn a blind eye naman sa missteps of the Marcos administration. In the coming days, we will fiscalize. Aba, fiscalizer? Parang, ano ni Laila de Lima yan fiscalizer. Ayun, no? So sabi niya, pag may nakita tayong masama, we will raise our voice because that is the essence of our presence here. Ay, talagang check and balance. As later, kung he thought of Marcos' first 100 days, Duterte said, anong tingin niya sa first 100 days ni Marcos? Sabi ni Duterte, if he succeeds, it will redound to the benefit of our country. Wala pang natapos yung 100 days. Ano? Ano ibig sabihin nun? So, anong tingin niya? Was it successful or not? May nangyari ba or hindi? Sabi niya, it's supposed to be a honeymoon. They call it a honeymoon with the press. At least give it to him. We have given it to other presidents. I don't know if I was conscious of that when I was there. Pero ayon sa kanya, well, it's honeymoon period pa lang. Ayaw niya mag-judgment or to say anything like that. Pero para sa kanya, kailangan na may fiscalizer for someone to check. So, wait lang. Di ba may opposition na tayo? May minority na tayo? Di ba? Andyan naman sila, sila Riza Hontiveros. Andyan naman yung ibang faction ng PDP laban. Yung sila, Pimentel. So, ano yun? So, di ba alay sila nung election? So, bakit sila biglang fiscalizer ngayon, right? Interesting. Now, si Pangulong Duterte, may issue din siya dito sa party system natin. Kasi sabi niya, yung multi-party system na ginawa natin after the collapse of Marcos dictatorship, ang problema dyan is parang, ang party nabibili na ngayon. It is cornered by people with money. There are only a few kung may naiwan. It is not illegal, not fundamentally wrong, but such defeats the purpose of giving voice to the association or grouping. So, para kay Pangulong Duterte, ang problema is na corrupt na po yung political system natin, yung party system natin. There are those who migrated to the other side, wala akong sasabihin, that is how they would want to work. So, anong sinasabi niya na you can connect the dots. Ayoko na kumpletuhin yun. You hang on to this party because it will carry you to victory in the coming years. Sigurado ako. So, ang point ni Pangulong Duterte, yes, hindi na sila in power. Hindi na si PDP laban yung ruling party. Pero at least the loyal people, alam niya sila yung loyal. And have faith, baka down the road. Because it will carry you to victory in the coming years. Alright, so, tignan natin ano yung mga positioning ng PDP laban, President Duterte, etc. Ahead of the midterm election. So, interesting yan, no? Ito pa, hindi pa tapos yung first 100 days ni Pangulong Marcos. Eto na, may positioning na for the midterm elections and all. Now, may kailangan tayong papuntahan. Di pa nga ako nag-dinner, etc. Actually, kanina umaga, I wanted to do a meta. So, pasensya na dun sa mga naghintay kasi may talk ako sa Fort Bonifacio sa Shang Fort. I gave a talk for an international event on Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, on trade agreements, etc. So yan, medyo respetable itsura natin kanina. Ito po yung conference kanina. Na-post ko na yan. Ito. Nandito ako. So, medyo big event yung kanina. So, sabi ko, maybe right after, I can do a meta. Ito yan. Ako yan. Alright. Yung nasa gitna. Yun, no? Anyway, I was thinking I'll do something afterwards, pero sabi ko, hindi maganda yung lighting dun sa room ko. At saka, ayoko naman pilitan na masyadong maaga. Baka hindi pa kayo gising or something like that. Sabi ko, later evening na lang. At saka, alam niyo naman sa Fridays, guys, half day, medyo nag-detox ako from social media and then full detox Sabbath pagdating naman sa Sunday, no? So, yun po yung positioning natin dyan. Anyway, sabi ko talaga, ihabol ko talaga to kasi iba eh. It's not like I didn't say about, it's not like we didn't see it coming. It's like, okay. Parati ko pinag-usapan yung Game of Thrones talaga ang Pilipinas. Ako! Ito. Mag-dinner na tayo. Don't worry, guys. Kailangan ko lang sabihin yan. We know clearly that there are some areas of divergence. I'll just put it that way, no? For President Marcos, mukhang very important to reintroduce the country. And in fact, just the other week, he criticized yung conduct of the drug war of President Duterte. He didn't say we don't need the drug war. Sabi niya, we need a drug war, ayusin namin. But he criticized already the conduct of the drug war. So you can say implicitly that was a criticism of the EJK issue. But at the same time, of course, on the ICC issue naman, the Marcos administration has stood its ground that dapat hindi makialam ang ICC. So I think that should be music to the ears of Duterte. No? But nonetheless, clearly, President Marcos has a different approach when it comes to the drug war. And his positioning internationally in the drug war is also perhaps not something that the former president is completely comfortable with. So it's not like Marcos Jr. is going out there and saying, no, that was perfect drug war, everything was fine, we'll continue 100% the way it was. No, we're not seeing that. We're seeing something different. The other issue that I think is becoming frustrating, and remember, drug war was barely mentioned in either State of the Nation address, State of the inauguration speech, and also the United Nations speech. Si Tatay Digong nga, parating may drug war sa lahat ng talk na, international, local, barangay, whatever, di ba? Ito, wala halos wala So you can clearly see hindi niya masyado priority or he doesn't see it in the same way as former president. And we know that the drug war was very, very important, President Duterte. The other thing also here is yung federalismo. We're not hearing much from either President Marcos or his key allies in the Congress, etc., on the constitutional change or federalism issue. Again, federalism was barely mentioned. If anything, it was not mentioned at all sa State of the Nation address as far as I remember. At kaya nga si Robin Hood ay hindi natuwa. And then dun sa issue ng red tagging, sa LCAC, NTAF, LCAC, etc., we see that National Security Advisor Clarita Carlos, very close to President Marcos, also is taking a much more nuanced stance on this issue, a much more multidimensional human security-related stance. Again, that's something that perhaps the other camp is not super happy about, and we saw with this person, letter L, letter B, na, kailangan niya yan, nagwawala-wala, tinitretan pa yung mga judges. So we see already some discontinuities there. And of course, yes, Marcos is nice to China, but he's not too nice to China, as in President Duterte. He's making a tough stance on the South China Sea. He's invoking the arbitration award quite consistently. And he's very friendly to the U.S. Complete opposite to President Duterte. And he's in U.S. right away. Wala pang 2 months in office, nasa U.S. na siya. Wala pang 1 week since nanalo ng presidente, nasa Melbourne na siya, Australia na siya. So, interesting. So there are points of divergence here, guys. There are points of divergence here. And the question is, how far will these points of divergence be decisive in shaping the interaction between the House of Marcos and the House of Duterte, and also in terms of shaping political alignments coming to 2025 elections ahead of almost certain presidential run by you know whom, right? And then also Marcos, once he's done in 2028, who do you think he wants to continue his legacy the most? Sino mas malapit dun sa thinking niya on US, on drug war, on constitutional change, on economics? Economics is very, very central. Business and economics is very, very important to Marcos Jr. Who do you think is most comfortable with? Kaya sabi nila, a day is a lifetime in the world of politics. Now imagine the differences and changes we could see in the next 3 to 6 years. All right? A lot. So, I know yung critics sila Marcoses and Duterte's try to put them in one basket and say, oh, at the end of the day, there's the same, they're this and this and that. But there are clear distinctions, policy prioritization distinctions that are out there. And these policy prioritization distinctions, in some ways, could also explain why President Duterte feels he needs to be active. Barely 3 months, into the new president, he's now actively part of politics again. He even talked about fiscalizing, acting as a fiscalizer, to call out any potential abuses under the new president. That's quite interesting. Because remember with President Aquino, late President Aquino, when he's out of office, he was no longer active in politics. He kind of really stepped back, right? Not with President Arroyo, right? But with President Aquino, we saw that. So we had some presidents who kind of stepped out of office or any direct political party positioning or jostling, etc. But President Duterte feels that he has to be part of the game. So that's quite an interesting thing. We'll discuss more of that perhaps tomorrow and other issues. But for now, let me thank you guys. Thank you so much. Pasensya again doon sa mga naghintay kanina sa akin. Nakala nila meta na kagad. Yun nga, I had to check. I had to go back to the room, check, etc. Wala eh. Talagang malabo yung, the lighting is not good. And then sabi ko, ayoko naman pilitin, masyadong maaga. Gusto ko naman yung tamang timing. Opo tayo, mag-usap tayo. So, kanina natapos ko na yung class ko. So, once I'm done with my duties, I feel I have time to dedicate to you guys, etc. Siyempre, may mga school duties, teacher duties, etc. din tayo. Alright? Na priorities din, of course. And other speaking engagements. So, for that, so on that note, let me thank you guys. Maraming salamat. Ito, interesting talaga yung politics natin. Thank you kay Jer Pronimo, kay Mitch Tengcha, as always, kay Riz Ani, kay Noemi Tablate. Thank you very much. For Jenny Misa, kay Ma'am Fenny San Miguel, as always, thank you so much. Kay Rex Molines, Ma'am Jocelyn Lumberi, yan, big supporters natin. Si Vilma Alberto, at si Truvlovien Payne, Relingo yan. Sorry if you didn't want your name to be read, but this is my way of saying thank you. I really appreciate your time. Pasensya na guys, medyo late na rin tayo nag-meta ngayon kasi may classes ako eh. Graduate school kasi yun, kaya syempre yung mga estudyante natin, iba working students, etc. So, medyo evening talaga yung mga classes namin. And I had to make sure I finish that before we can do this. Alright? So, maraming salamat guys. Thank you very much. Please, don't worry. I'll post yung mga articles na yan, sources na yan. Lahat naman yung ginagawa natin. May resibo. So, no worries at all. Marami tayong pag-usapan eh. Alam niyo na yan. Kita niyo, medyo behave ako, no? Medyo mabait na ako ngayon. Bakit kaya? Mabait na ako ngayon, no? Parang dati. Alam mo, gusto niyo bardagulan eh. Walang nga. Pero ako mabait na ako. Mabait na ako. Mabait na ako. Mabait na ako. At least ngayon, mabait na ako. Okay? Balikan natin yan. We'll have more discussion. Thank you very much also sa mga Paris, Saint-Germain, friends natin from Paris. Thank you for t-shirt, les Français. Yeah. Okay. Eto na. So, I hope, okay. Guys, minsan lang siguro ganun, mga compact, boom, 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 25-30 minutes. Hindi yung mga 1 hour, 2 hours meta natin. I'm sure ma-appreciate nyo naman yan. Straight to the point, we go there. Again, God willing, soon, medyo ma-set up din natin yung mga OBS, other platforms para more interactive, my graphics, my video, my discussions, etc. Alright? I really appreciate it. And hindi bawat araw ay bardagulan, pero magkakaroon din ng mga araw para sa bardagulan. Kaya huwag kayo mag-alala. Alright? Okay. Thank you very much, guys. God bless. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. And au revoir. I'll see you guys soon. Adios.